originally from Rhode Island. Actually, I grew up in Massachusetts. I went to college in Rhode Island, but like right on the border. So I always say Rhode Island. And I had a major in marketing. Didn't know what I wanted to do with it. Just knew that it made sense to get a degree in something that I could use, which I figured, hey, let's learn how to market yourself, first of all.
Right.
So I ended up leaving Rhode Island. My parents had a house in Marco Island, and I was like, oh, I'll come down for the winter and just hang out and figure out my life. 15 years later, I'm still here. I just fell in love with the community. I fell in love with the people, the energy down here, the weather. I ended up meeting my husband like 6 months after I moved here, and I just felt like this is where I was meant to be.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. And so you've been here 15 years.
Yeah.
So you've really seen Naples change,
completely
right?
changed,
in that time.
And I just aged myself, so if you do the math, you know how old I am. But yeah, no, it's crazy how much it changed. Right. When I first moved here, everyone was like, you're moving where to what? Like, do your grandparents live there? And now everyone's like, wait, can I move there too? This is amazing.
Right. I feel like Naples, there's so much opportunity in Naples.
So much.
Right?
Yeah.
In every industry.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's growing.
Yeah. I talked to a lady the other day, and she said that Naples is like a vortex, and it just like pulls in all the same like-minded people. And I was like, that is so true. Because I just feel like the people that you meet down here, like everyone just gets each other. We all like vibe and work together, I feel like.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. Yeah.
I don't know. I forget who said it.
It feels
Sorry,
like a bubble,
whoever said it. Yes, the little vortex bubble.
Yeah. Awesome. And you know what? We talked a little bit before, like off camera, about Miami and going there and coming back. I swear the drive to Alligator Alley, and if the sun is setting, it feels like you're like entering like heaven or something.
Right. You're like leaving hell and entering heaven.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about like what inspired you to get into what you're doing now? So if you can touch on, the business you own, the industry you're in, and kind of what inspired you to get into that industry.
Yeah. So I just feel like my story is so random and weird, but it really, at the end of the day, and so many business owners say this, that when they look back on their journey, you're like, oh, that's why I did that. And that's why I met this person. And everything kind of just falls into place the way that it should. I mean, if you told me 15 years ago that I'd be owning a boutique, like I'd be like, what the hell? No, I'm not in Naples. But I always knew the 9 to 5 was not for me. Like, knew 100% that was never going to work. So when I graduated college, I moved down here, and I was like, well, I'll bartend and I'll, be a server and just figure out what I'm going to do. So I did that. And then about a year after that, I was like, okay, it's time to like be a big girl and do something. I ended up getting my real estate license, fell in love with that world. I did that for about 3 or 4 years, met some great people, great contacts, loved selling houses and connecting people and houses and, meeting someone and saying, oh, this is the perfect thing for you. Right. And I realized that I just really thrived with that connection of humans. Sorry.
No.
See? I told you.
Like the networking aspect?
Yeah, just like being around people and like solving problems for them and putting them together and, having this idea of what I picture them in and finding it. But then I ended up getting pregnant back to back with my boys, and it just kind of, the schedule became too hard. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, I'm running around with 2 babies and doing showings. This just isn't working anymore. So I had this great idea to, as I'm sitting home with 2 babies, to start a screen printing business for t-shirts, which is the most random. My husband looked at me and he was like, how about we stick to selling real estate?
Right.
I was like, no, I'm going to teach myself how to screen print.
Tough business.
Yeah. But it was back in 2013 when not many t-shirt companies were on the scene yet. I felt like it's back when Etsy started, and Etsy was just starting out, and it was this cool website. Pinterest had just come on to the market, and people were just super intrigued by it. Right. So I started an Instagram account, and that was also back in the day when Instagram was just the weird filters and just nothing of substance.
Right.
I taught myself how to screen print in my garage, and I launched an Etsy shop. And within 2 years, I had over 5,000 sales and 30,000 followers on Instagram. And I was being featured. And I was like, what just happened? How did this happen? I ended up selling my company.
Okay.
And then that led me down the road of another company called LuLaRoe, which I don't know if a lot of people are even familiar with this company anymore, but it was a direct sales clothing company, which basically just means they supplied me with the clothes. I would buy from them directly. I could sell their clothes, and then I could also earn money from building teams and having girls sign up. So that was my first dive into that type of world that I was like totally against. I was like, I'll just sell the clothes. I don't want to build teams and do all that. But within 6 months, I had a team of like 75 girls. Sales were through the roof. It took off. And I was like, this is amazing. This is like my passion. I love this. I'm finding people. I'm helping people find clothes. I'm helping people do businesses just like I'm doing from home with their kids. So I did that for 3 years. And then I decided to start my own direct sales company. And that's what Maverick was. Okay. Up until recently. Right. I had a direct sales company. We had 400 girls across the U.S. I had a warehouse. Wow. We've had combined sales of almost $7 million. It was amazing. Wow. I did incentive trips. I had my top sellers come down here. We did Nashville. We've done all the things, and it was so fun and it was so amazing. But due to just, economic changes, warehousing, logistics, China, it was just a lot. Right. So I made the decision for almost my mental health about 4 months ago to shut that aspect down. And then we decided to open up the boutique here in Naples. So I now have a boutique in Naples at the Shops at Vanderbilt. And
how recent is your current location, the one in Naples?
Our boutique opened January 15th.
Okay, of this year. Wow, that's awesome. And when is Coconut?
Coconut Point, opening date is set for October 1st.
Wow. So you guys are growing fast.
Yeah. And then the plan is to franchise. So basically I was a franchise, I just basically franchised online. So like girls would buy into my company. I'd give them marketing. I'd give them websites. I'd give them all the tools that they needed. It was basically a business in a box. So now I'm kind of just going to do that with brick and mortar. Right. So my plan is to open Coconut Point, have 2 stores under my belt, and then hopefully in 2024 offer the option to franchise.
Wow, that's awesome. How big is the store at Coconut Point? Is it a big store?
So our store at the Shops at Vanderbilt is 1,000 square feet, and Coconut Point's going to be 3,200.
Wow.
Yeah. I know, it's scary. I say that number and I'm like, oh my God.
No, but that's a great shopping center to be in.
Yeah. And honestly, I was a little hesitant just because I feel like there's a lot of turnover there. And I know that location is like so key in that plaza. And the spot I am getting is across from Altered State and next to American Eagle. So I'm like, I can't turn this down. You know, like even if I fail, which I won't, even if I do, just the mere fact that like I was there with those big name stores is just worth it to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Sorry to get so serious with this question, but
I'm scared.
what have been some of the most significant challenges you faced in your career, and how have you overcome them?
So many. COVID, first of all. So I launched my business in 2019, and then COVID hit 1 year later. And all of our production is in China. So that was, granted, COVID was actually kind of a good thing for our company because my company is made up of basically stay-at-home women, and we had so many people staying at home that everyone was looking for something to do online. So we actually had an influx of women join our company, but at the same time on the back end, I had logistics issues. I had production issues. I basically had every issue you could think of. I had clothes that I had ordered that were sitting on boats in the middle of the sea that couldn't come to port. I mean, it was just, it was like the best and the worst of both worlds combining at the same time. So that was a big challenge for us. Another challenge has been, if you guys follow me on Instagram, if you don't, please do. I'm an open book. I mean, you know my whole life. You know what my kids are doing. You know like what's going on with me. Because of that, I feel like I'm open to a lot of scrutiny, and I do get a lot of backlash and some haters. And you know, you don't really like, you read the things that people say, and you're like, okay, whatever. But at the end of the day, you still kind of hear them in the back of your head, like, oh, really? Is that how someone views me? Oh, my God. So that's been a big thing for me, and learning how to not always have to like fight back. Just kind of let them be that way and not have to have like prove a point or anything like that. Yeah. Which my parents will always say that's always been my issue since I was little. Like, no, you don't need to defend yourself. Like, just let it be. So that's been a big challenge. Okay. Everything else I feel like I can handle. Okay. Throw it my way. Yeah.
Perfect. And how do you balance the demands of running a business with your personal life and other commitments?
I don't sleep. I drink a lot of caffeine. I go to therapy. I mean, I do all those things. But no, I mean, I think just having a schedule and having to kind of say no to some things sometimes. And usually the things I say no to are like the fun things, you know. I'm really strict with my time. I wake up early. I make sure that exercise is a priority. I set a schedule and I stick to it. And I just think when you have a passion for something, the phrase like people will do things that they want to do, you know, like if they want to do it, they're going to do it. Right. And that's just kind of how I live my life every day. I just have to make time and figure it out.
Right. Right. And what do you believe are the most important qualities or characteristics that contribute to success in both business and life?
Oh my God. You couldn't have given me these questions ahead of time. Believing in yourself, like unwavering, like confidence in yourself. Because like I said, like you're going to have the haters, you're going to have failures. I mean, there's so many people that could look at my business for the last 4 years and say, oh, well, her business failed and now she's just starting a boutique. To me, that wasn't failing. That was evolving. That was learning and changing and doing the smart thing and just saying, you know what, this is working right now. Let's try something else. I just think the unwavering belief in yourself and in your business, and failure is going to be a part of it, and that's okay.
Right. Right. And what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out in their career or business venture?
Those things.
Those things?
Yeah. I mean, just not being so hard on yourself. And I think like this age right now of social media and like instant gratification and how everyone is just like on Instagram showing their accomplishments and not the defeats and
making it seem like it's very fast to make a lot of money.
So easy. Right. And that everyone's so rich. Like, no, everyone's so poor actually. Like, I'm learning this. Like, what you think is the truth is not. People, and it's going to take a while to make money. Investing money into yourself and into your business is the smart thing. Not just like taking the money you earn in your first year and like blowing it on like, you know, a new Range Rover.
Yeah. And it's crazy because business and entrepreneurship is so glorified today. Right. And I think my brother and I did an interview a long time ago, and somebody asked, like, what's an advice you would give to somebody going into business? And we were like, don't go into business. Because it's really tough. Right. You know, and you're always you're in such a different headspace than any other person that's working a 9 to 5. 100%. Because you're dealing with a million things. Right. Even if you're a one person show, you know?
Yeah. Even if you have 20 people, you're it all falls on you no matter what.
Exactly. And so kind of to branch off that question, that same question, what are some common mistakes or pitfalls that people can avoid when they're starting, you know, in their career or starting into a business venture?
Also, like I said, like, you know, instead of, you know, saying, oh my God, you know, I have $100,000 in my bank account for my first year. Like, let's go buy like a brand new Range Rover. No, take that money and reinvest it into yourself and into your business and look at the big 5-year plan, not just like what's right there right now. And letting, you know, the negativity get to you if you don't succeed within the first year. Most businesses fail within the first 3 years. And if you can get past that mark, I mean, you're better than, you know, 90% of the people out there. So just not being too hard on yourselves.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. And so last question, how do you measure success in your personal and professional life?
Ooh. How much I cry. No, I'm just kidding. I actually don't cry a lot. Oh God, I don't know.
Like, what is success to you?
To me, I know. I was just gonna say that. Success to me is freedom, and it's always been freedom. someone not telling me what to do is the whole reason why I wanted to start my own business. I never wanted to work for someone else. But freedom too, that comes with money. So I mean, when you have money, the positive for me with that is that I have freedom to do what I want with my time. If I want to go, watch my kids' soccer practice, I can go do that. If I want to take my kids on a vacation, I can do that. So to me, it's freedom to do anything that I want to do.
Okay. And what motivates you to continue striving for your goals?
Freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always loved having nice things. And I don't like relying on other people. And that's kind of just always been my pushing force. I want to be able to do what I want to do and buy what I want to buy and help who I want to help. And if I can do that and not have to rely on anyone else to provide that for me, that's it for me. And helping other people, honestly, when I had the direct sales side of Maverick, me being able to watch women quit their 9-to-5 jobs, which they didn't want to be at, and solely just sell my clothes and make a living, that was a game changer for me. I was like, this is amazing to watch this happen.
Right.
And even, it's so dumb, but like even watching girls come into the boutique and be like, can you help me? I don't know how to dress myself. I've lost 60 pounds recently. I don't know what to wear. And I can sit there with someone for an hour and dress them. And then we become best friends. I'm like, this is it for me. This is amazing.
Okay. I love it. And I want anything else that you would like to touch on before we wrap this interview up? Like just anything regarding maybe things you have coming up with your business or advice that you'd like to give or just anything in general?
Advice, say yes to everything. Say yes to the events. I go to so many networking events. Say yes to every podcast. Say yes to every person that wants to put you in a magazine. Say yes to it all. Any person that wants to come and meet you and have coffee and talk about business, say yes, because you just never know what that connection is going to lead to. And when I look back on my journey of business and when people ask me my story, it just all clicks. I'm like, that's why I met that person and that's why this happened and that's why I'm in this spot right now. There's just so many different things that all make sense at the end. So that would be my biggest thing.
I love that advice. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I want to say thank you on behalf of the Naples Tonight team for being part of our Women Empowerment feature. Stephanie, thank you so much.
Thank you.